What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today, and today we are going to have a look at Cyberpunk 2077 Path Tracing Update. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's gonna run horribly. Yep, I'm pretty sure it is, but somebody requested it, so I figured if somebody requests it, why the hell not? And then we can show people exactly why you should not do that. So we'll do it at 1080p and 1440p. So, without wasting any more time, well, before we go over to that, we're gonna run it at the exact same kind of, specs that we did on the desktops, We'll find a pretty decent medium between, or what you would call it, like a high settings and whatnot, and then we'll turn path tracing on with nothing, then we'll turn FSR on quality, and then we'll do FSR performance, then we'll do my setting, which, spoiler alert, there will not be any RT on my settings. But anyway, now let's go get hooked up to that capture computer and get started.
Well, alright, this is probably going to be very silly, but let's show you the settings we're going to do for the path tracing here. We're probably going to be in the single digits, but it will still do it because it was requested. So we'll just run through all the settings. We'll leave those on. I usually turn those off, but we'll leave them on for now. Motion blur off. Here's the rest of the settings right here. And then once we get to the very bottom, we'll go and run a bench. So as you can see, we got path tracing on. So now let's go run that benchmark. Well, benchmark got done, and as I thought, we got 5.1 FPS and 3 minimum and 8 max, so absolutely unplayable. But here's the system specs and the settings we ran and all that good junk. So now let's go hop into the game just to see how terrible this is, just as an example. So, to the game. Or slideshow, rather. Well, here we go. Just path tracing on and nothing else helping us. No FSR or any of that stuff. And yeah, whopping 7 FPS. Completely unplayable. Very not fun. But still, we'll try to get just enough gameplay for it to show up as a good spot in the chapters. If you make things too short, I found it's harder to click on with your mouse, especially with your finger when you're using a phone or a tablet. And I always try to watch my videos and all that stuff just to make sure everything's legible on all of them. And it can get a little iffy on phones, but I can still read everything on my phone, and my phone may be it's old, but it was a high-end phone with all the high resolution and all that stuff that all the new phones have, so if it can be visible on there, it should be visible on pretty much every phone. Same thing with tablet. I'll watch it on the iPad real quick just to see how it does, and so far so good on there too. Well, a hell of a lot better than this game is running right now anyway. But anyway, this is terrible, and that's about all I can take, so why don't we now go ahead and try and turn some FSR on, even though I still don't think that's going to do good enough. Alright, now, we're basically going to leave the rest of the settings exactly the same as they were, but we're going to turn FSR Super Resolution 2.1 on, we're going to have it on quality, and everything else is staying exactly as it was. Path tracing staying on, and everything. So now let's go run that benchmark real quick, and then we'll get a little gameplay after that. Well, here we go. We got 10 FPS this time. Wow, we hit double digits. Impressive. 7 min and 17 max, not playable still, but again, here's all of the system specs and all that stuff, the settings, at least some of them. It doesn't tell you every little thing, and tells you that path tracing is still enabled. So now, let's head back to the main menu and then into the game. Well, alright, here we are with some FSR on quality. So let's turn that on so you guys can actually see the FPS. Doesn't really help if that's not on there. Yeah, it's still pretty fucking terrible. I can at least move the camera a little easier now. It was almost impossible to even control where I was going before. Now I can almost do it. It's still not easy, but I can do it. Whee! Zooming around. Anyway, though, we'll just run down the street again here. I'm not going to play for a super long time, just long enough to make it easy to click on in the chapters on YouTube here. But I would not want to play a game like this. There might be people that disagree and say it's completely playable. I do not agree. And that's just my opinion. hey, there's that store where I killed all the people on the desktops. Still, though, we're mostly in the teens, and sometimes down to 10. But, hey, better than before, but not playable in my opinion. So, why don't we now go ahead and try turning FSR onto performance real quick, and then we'll do my settings after that. So, let's go jump on to it. Well, now we're going to do the same settings as before, but with FSR on performance now. So let's just scroll on down just so you can see everything is the same. We still got path traced, ray tracing on, and all that good stuff. So now we got into the bottom and all that. Let's go run the bench. Well, all right, now we got 18 this time, which is a little better than 10. 13 minimum, so we even beat the minimum, beat our average last time, and we got max of 27, so almost a 30 max, but not quite. So this is still very unplayable, but let's go and hop on into the game now and see how it runs anyway, just for fun. Then we'll do my settings after that. Well, now here we go with FSR on performance and path tracing still on everything. And yeah, this looks pretty damn not that great. Still not great playable FPS either. Yeah, we've reached like Nintendo Switch levels of fucking FPS here. Some games really do drop down this low. People don't want to believe me, but some third-party games do. And freaking Pokemon did as well when it first came out. I'm hoping to God they fixed it by now. I almost got ran over. That wouldn't have been good. I'd have been all like, smoosh. So yeah, just like with ray tracing, it's not very playable on this game. Path tracing is even worse, because it's way harder to run. But I figured this was going to happen after seeing how bad it ran on the desktops, but somebody wanted to see how it ran, so I thought, fuck it. If somebody wants to see something, even if it does sound kind of silly, I don't care. I can do a request real fast. It's not a big deal at all. Only time I can't do that is if I don't own the game and I don't feel like spending $60 on it or something like that. Anyway, though, now let's move on to my settings. All right, now here's my settings here. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean for this to still be on. We don't need FSR on. Let's go back up here and turn that off real quick. We don't need that on at 1080p. Not with my settings, no survey. So, let's go here and look at all the settings. They're basically the same as they were when we were doing path tracing. We just now turned ray tracing and path tracing and all that off. So, now we got to the bottom. It is benchmark time. Well, all right, we averaged 110 this time, a minimum of 46, which I didn't really notice. And we got a maximum of 177.97. Damn, that's a lot of FPS. Anyway, though, here's the system specs again here, and some of the settings. And there we go. Now that we gotten all of that out of the way, let's go hop into the game one more time here and see how my settings fare. Well, all right, guys, here we go with my settings. Let's just run around for a little bit here. And then we'll go get ourselves a little camera gameplay after that, too. Whoa. I almost got ran over again. I'm pretty good at getting run over in this game, so I'm sure it'll happen sooner or later. But yeah, this is much better. The lighting and all that might not look nearly as good anymore, but I would much rather have, on the laptop anyway, some extra FPS. And even on my desktops, I can't really afford running ray tracing on here without using DLSS, but I like normal ray tracing, so I'll at least run DLSS on my desktops for this game, but don't do the path tracing on them because it just takes up too much. I can't even get like 60. Can I get in here? I can get in here. Fuck yeah. We're gonna go drive ourselves a fucking truck. Out of the way, everybody. I'm gonna drive a fucking truck with the keyboard. This is not gonna go well. First, let's not go too far that way. Let's turn around and go back this way instead. Hell yeah. We can get the truck to wiggle with it. Oh yeah, driving like an absolute fucking lunatic. Oh, we had an accident. Time to turn around and go the other way again. Oh, that was really sideways. Almost got another head-on collision. Fuck. But as you can see, we're getting great FPS though. More than playable. Alright though, let's just crash here and go move on to some camera.
Well, alright guys, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay now. The game still looks pretty damn good without ray tracing as far as I'm concerned anyway. Just looks better with it, but it ain't worth what it was running at, that's for sure, not for the path tracing. I don't think it's worth it no matter what on this AMD. It's usually not even worth it on video, to be honest, because then you're normally, unless you have a top-of-the-line computer and don't play at 4K, it's really hard to turn ray tracing on. If you're like me and you turn ray tracing on, even my 4090 can't usually play games with ray tracing on without DLSS on, and I generally don't like using DLSS if I can help it. That's just me. I like native.
I don't believe it!
I can't believe it either! I shall now run away! I flee! Alright, let's start heading back to where at least all the lighting and whatnot is. Otherwise my damn camera will sit there and get all fuzzy and you won't be able to see anything. It does not like there being no light. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this game. It might have been buggy as hell, and it still is pretty damn buggy, but it was still a pretty fun game. Let's see, if I had to rate it out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say for me personally, it was a solid 6.8. If it was flawless and had no bugs or anything like that, I'd probably give it, you know, a solid 7. But since I had some of that shit, not quite worth quite more than that. But I liked the story. I liked the world. I mean, I do wish it was a little more lifelike. The AI walking around still just doesn't seem quite right. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it doesn't really feel like an alive city to me. Oh my god, you hit me with your car! But it's okay. I can just breathe the thing and I'm fine. How cool would that be if that was real? Although then I start wondering, okay, what in the hell is in there? Like, I might be fine now, but will I be fine later?
Oh no! Got me on the pipe. Well, that's what I get for bumping into people, I guess. There we go, a lattice. There we go. Ow. Alright, with that, let's go wrap this video on up now.
Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Cyberpunk update with path tracing. And as you can see, pretty much no matter what you do with path tracing, much like with ray tracing, because it's basically just a more advanced form of it, I believe, it did not go well. Super unplayable, even with FSR's help, and that's only at 1080p. But we'll still do 1440p. It's gonna be really, really bad, but still, I wanna show you how it is for the people that have even the 1440p version of it, because not everybody has this 1080p version. So I'm gonna go get started on that video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.